Hello students, good morning. So as you know, in your syllabus we are dealing with the 7th chapter, that is system of particles and rotational body. Okay, rotation of a body. Okay, so till now we have discussed some basic things, and along with that we have studied about center of mass, and in the last class some lengthy derivations also we have done. Okay, so after this all, today we will discuss about vector product of two vectors. Okay, means when two vectors are given to you, how to multiply them, or in terms of vectors I can say that is called as the vector product. Vector, or we can say product, that is what product. When you multiply two vectors, that is said to be a product. Okay, so here today we will discuss about vector product of two vectors. Okay, in vector calculus we are having scalar product also. When we are considering two vectors, we will be having scalar product also and vector products also. But today we will discuss about the vector products of two vectors. Okay, after that we will talk about angular velocity, because in this chapter, as you know, the heading itself indicates we are discussing about rotation of the body or rotating objects, right? In mechanics you may studying about laws of motion or the nature of motion, how the particles are moving, what all the parameters they possess. So all that things are related to what? Motion of a body when that body is moving in a straight line, right? Means linearly, means that body is moving in a straight line. But here we are talking about, or we are in deeply studying about rotation of the body. So here body is not moving in a straight line, body is rotating. So when we consider the objects under rotational motion, all the parameters will show some difference. Okay, so what is that with respect to bodies in a linear motion and bodies in a rotational motion we have to study. Okay, so when you consider the objects moving in a rotational motion, or when the objects are rotating around a fixed point, at that point we will come across with the concepts of angular velocity. We will know about angular acceleration or the force acting on that rotational bodies. Okay, all those things also we will study in today's class. Okay, so I'll start with the vector product of two vectors. Okay, in the last class I told you briefly that, okay, in last class I told briefly that when any two vectors, let's consider if A is one vector and if B is another vector, and you consider that C is the vector product of these two things, like 3 into 2 is equal to 6. 3 and 2 are any two vectors and 6 is the vector product of 3 and 2, like that. Okay, so if you multiply A and B two vectors, you will get a vector C, such that how that vector C is there, we will study 2 points about that: magnitude of that vector C and the direction of that vector C. Now to show the vector products, we will use the sign like this. Cross product also we can say. Okay, when you consider scalar product, it comes as A dot B equal to C. Okay, so scalar product we can call it as a dot product. Okay, but you are studying about vector product, so hence it is a cross product. Okay, A cross B is equal to C. So here A and B are the two vectors. Vectors means what? A is having both magnitude and direction, B is also having both magnitude and direction. Okay, so when this A and B are multiplied, or if you consider the product of those two, the answer will be C. So C is also one vector, which is the vector product of A and B. So if two vectors A and B are there and its product C is there. C is also one vector such that the magnitude of C, because C is one vector, it is having both magnitude and direction. So the vector product of A and B is the vector C such that the magnitude of C is equal to the product of magnitudes of two vectors and the sine of angle between them. Means if A and B are two vectors like this, A and B are two vectors and in between them we are having the angle theta. So if A and B are two vectors and C is their product, then the magnitude of C can be written as the product of magnitude of both the vectors and sine of angle between them. This is what the magnitude of C. And how the direction of C will be. How the direction of C will be. Okay, means you consider A and B are one plane. Means A and B are in one plane and C is perpendicular to them. Right? If A and B two vectors are lying in a plane. So if this board, if you consider, that is one plane. Okay, and this board and my hand, if you consider, that is not one plane. My hand is a different plane and this board is a different plane. So if A and B vectors are lying on this board, then see this chalk piece. I am holding it like this. Board is like this, I am holding the chalk piece like this. So this chalk piece is perpendicular 90 degrees to the board. Okay. Means if the two vectors A and B are lying on a plane, then the direction of C will be perpendicular to that. Okay, means this direction of C can be given by right hand rule and right hand screw rule. Okay, I told these names in the last class. Right hand rule means what? See, this is my right hand. Okay, these fingers I am just curling like this. Fingers I am just curling like this and the thumb is in this direction. Okay, so here we are having one direction like this and one direction like this. Okay, means A and B vectors we are having here. A is there and also B is there. See here, A is here and B is here. If you curl your fingers, you can understand. Where you are getting your nails, that is what vector B, and this middle portion of the finger is vector A. So when you curl your fingers, A and B are here. So this thumb, whatever it is perpendicular to this A and B, this is called as what? The direction of X, the direction of C. Okay, see here, A and B. How means? See here, I am holding the hand like this. Okay, here we are having A and here we are having B. Or here we are having B, here we are having A. Means A and B are lying in the same plane. They are lying in this same plane. Okay, but this C is what? Above. C is perpendicular. A and B are in this plane and to that perpendicular. See here, can you see the 90-degree angle here? Can you see the 90-degree angle? Okay, so this A and B are two vectors lying in a same plane and the direction of C will be perpendicular to the direction of A and B. So this is what? Right hand rule. And also we have right hand screw rule. Screw means what? Nails will be there in the walls. Wall means to hang anything. To hang anything on the wall, we put the nails. Okay, so that nails, if the head of the nail and tip of the nail you consider, the head is rotating like this, head of the nail is rotating like this, and when you, okay, so when that nail you are taking, that nail when you are fixing in the wall, okay, consider this is the nail, I am fixing this in this wall. Okay, so when you hit it with the hammer here, the head of the nail is rotating like this, but the tip is going inside the wall, right? Mola sto baga mola. Okay, so that is what head of that nail is rotating like this. So A and B, vectors A and B are there, and this C is going inside the wall. So that is what right hand screw rule. So the meaning of telling is just the C, the vector C, which is vector product of A and B, its direction is perpendicular to the plane containing A and B. Okay, that is the meaning. So what I am concluding here is if A and B are two vectors and C is the vector product of A and B, then its magnitude can be given as product of magnitude of A and B and sine of the angle between A and B. This is what magnitude of that C, and direction of the C is always perpendicular to the plane containing A and B, and the direction can be proved by using the right hand rule or the right hand screw rule. Okay, so this only we are doing some rules. We are doing some mathematical rules with the vectors A and B, like vector product of two vectors is not commutative. Commutative means what? A plus B is equal to B plus A, or A into B is equal to B into A, like that. But this rule will not hold good for the vectors. A cross B is not equal to B cross A. Then what is it? How to write the commutative rule means A cross B is equal to minus of B cross A. Means magnitude is same but direction is not same. So commutative law does not hold good for the vector product of two vectors, but it is the product of the vector product of A and B is equal to negative of vector product of B and A. This is one rule. And next rule is distributive law. Distributive law means A cross B is equal to is A cross B into C. C is it. C cross A cross B is equal to C cross A plus C cross A. Okay, this is what distributive law. C cross A cross B equal to C cross A plus C cross B. Okay, this is what distributive law. So distributive law and negative commutative law holds good for the vector product. So by these rules you can apply them for the considering three unit vectors, that is vector I cap, j cap and k cap. These are the three unit vectors we are having. So we can apply these rules to these vectors. Okay, what rules? See here. This is about A cross B. This is about A cross B cross C. So when you consider only A cross A, only A cross A if you consider, that is always equal to 0. Why? Because A cross A means A cross A means A square. A square means what? A square means here sign becomes 0. Sign 0 is 0. Okay? If you consider A cross A here, it becomes A square. And this sine angle is also there, na? Between two vectors, sine angle is there. So sine 0 is always 0. Hence A square is equal to 0. That's why the same rules we can apply here as I cross I is equal to 0. Similarly, J cross J is also equal to 0. Similarly, K cross K is also equal to 0. This is the law when you consider any two vectors. Okay. In the same way, if you consider I, J, K in a rotational manner like this, I, J and K. Okay. So when you consider I, J, K in the rotational manner, see here, I cross J, which is remaining k. So I cross j is equal to k cap. Okay, again you come here, j cross k, j cap cross k cap is equal to what? Here I cap. Okay, can you consider k cap cross I cap, k cap cross I cap, it is j cap. Okay, like this it is in a rotational manner. If you consider them reverse now, okay, if you consider reverse, what happens? Means instead of considering I cross j, if you means you are going in a clockwise direction, okay, if you come reverse, anti-clockwise direction means j cross I, if you come as j cross I, it is minus k cap. Okay, otherwise if you come again in the anti-clockwise direction, I cross k, I cap cross k cap, then it is minus j cap. Okay, otherwise if you go again in anti-clockwise, k cross cap means k cap cross j cap, it is minus I cap. Okay, this is when you apply the laws of vectors to the unit vectors I, j and k. Okay, see here what I am telling, don't get confused with anything. We are considering the two vectors a and b. Their product is c. Okay, the c, magnitude of c is given as ab sin theta. What is that? Product of magnitude of a and b and sine of angle between them. AB into sin theta is there. So that into is nothing but product. Okay. So AB into sin theta, product of magnitude of A and B and sine of angle between them. And direction of C is given as perpendicular to the plane containing A and B. Means if A and B lies here, C will be here. To explain that only we have given with the right hand rule and the right hand screw rule. Okay, that always concludes as A and B are lying in one plane like this. A and B are lying in one plane and C is lying perpendicular to them. Okay, now we will discuss some rules. Commutative law not holds good for the vector products, but negative of the commutative law holds good. So this is distributive law. When C cross A cross B is there, you can write it as C cross A plus C cross B. Means associative law is there, na? Associative. That only will write like this. Distributive law. Okay. So when you consider any vector and it's the same vector, A cross A or B cross B or C cross C, it always gives 0 because sin 0 is 0. Okay. So the same thing we apply for the unit vectors. I cross I is 0, J cross J is 0, K cross K is 0. Okay. But when you consider the different vectors, not same, different vectors, I cross J, I cap cross J cap. So how to get those results means, see here, you just arrange I cap, J cap, K cap in a rotational manner and they are rotating in a clockwise direction you consider. Okay, so I cap cross J cap is equal to K cap. J cap cross K cap is equal to I cap. K cap cross I cap is equal to J cap. That means whichever the vectors you are taking, remaining that one more which will be there. Means if you are taking I and J, their products if you are taking, one more is remaining, na? K, that is the answer. If you are taking J and K, their product, then I is remaining, that will be the answer. If you are taking I and K as the two vectors and their products, so J is remaining, that will be the answer. Okay, so this is when the vectors are rotating in a clockwise direction. If you take it reverse in anti-clockwise direction, if you go K cross J, yes, obviously it will be I cap, but minus I cap. because you are going in a anti-clockwise direction. So the same thing holds good here also. Okay, I hope you have understood the vector products of the vectors. Okay, this much is there, nothing much. Okay, if you feel any doubt, ask me. Okay, now we will think about some parameters when the objects are moving in a rotational motion. So for that I will consider, see here, I will consider here only. See here, one object is there, one rigid body is there, you consider. One rigid body is there. Okay, and that rigid body is rotating about some axis side. Okay, means if you consider anything like, okay, this pen is there, na? This pen is there. I am to this pen, means this pen is one axis you consider. Okay, and this what paper is there, na? This is one rigid body. Okay, this paper is rotating around the pen like this. The paper is rotating around the pen like this. Means pen is one axis about which the paper is rotating. So when it is rotating like this, okay, the pen is at its rest position. The particles which are present at this, they are not moving, they are at rest only. But whatever the particles are here, no, in the paper, they are moving. Okay, now you try to imagine, just imagine that one axis is there, and about that axis one body is rotating. So whatever the particles are there at the axis, they will not move. But whatever the particles are there in that body, they will move in a circular manner like this. Okay, they will move in a circular manner like this. Okay, now that the particles motion is forming one circle here. The particles motion is forming one circle here. I hope you can see it properly. Okay, the particles motion is forming one circle here. So you consider C is the center of that circle. Okay, so here I am denoting one particle P at a distance r from the center. Okay, so this particle P is also giving the circular motion. Okay, now this particle P will start its motion from here. It goes here, it goes here, it goes here, it goes here, like that. It completes one rotation. So when it starts its rotation, you just denote one point here as a P dash. Means the particle started its rotation from P and it is here P dash in some time interval delta t. Okay, the particle is moving, the particle is under motion and it is giving the rotations like this. So I denote one point P dash where the particle is reached in the time delta t, and I draw one more line here. Okay, and to this I will give a angle theta. Okay, so you first think about the particles in linear motion, then only you can understand. Okay, so now I am here, I am doing one linear motion. Okay, so now I start my motion from here. Okay, now you start the time. Okay, I'll walk and I'll stop here. Okay, so that is what P, this is P dash, and I have walked from that point to here in some time interval, right? When I was at P, you started the watch. Okay, so when I came here, in 2 seconds I came here, so that 2 seconds is what? Time taken for the particle to move from P to P dash. So the time taken for the particle to move from P to P dash is delta t, and whatever the position is changed, so I am here P and I am coming here P dash, my position is changed na? So the same thing happens in angular motion also. So the position changed from P to P dash. So that position change is nothing but displacement, right? That is displacement. But here displacement is not in a straight line. Here here the displacement is in the rotational motion. So that displacement I will take it as the P dash. P dash. That much distance means this much distance is covered by the particle. Na? That much distance is covered by the particle. I hope you can see it. Okay, see there. Can you see? That much distance is covered by the particle. Okay, so that is what angular displacement. Angular displacement. To that I will give a name as D. I'll give it a name as D. Otherwise, we can give it a name as theta only, because the theta is the angular displacement, means theta angle was here na, so that angular displacement I will give it a name delta theta. So this is what angular displacement and this is the time. So you know, for general, when the particle is moving in a linear motion, that they will get velocity. That velocity is equal to displacement upon time. So this angular velocity is also equal to angular displacement divided by time, right? So angular velocity is nothing but omega equal to angular displacement divided by time. So this is what angular velocity of the particle under rotational motion. Obviously, angular velocity comes only for particles in rotational motion. We don't have angular velocity for the particles which are moving in a linear motion. Okay. Okay. So this is what angular velocity. Angular velocity is equal to angular displacement divided by time, and its unit is radian per second, because here we don't have the distance in meter, kilometer, centimeter, anything. Here we have the angular displacement, so that angular displacement is nothing but radian. Okay, this is what angular velocity. So like you have velocity, acceleration in the linear motion, in this rotational motion also we are having angular velocity and angular acceleration. So that angular acceleration is nothing but what? Alpha. So in generally, tell me what is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Similarly, angular acceleration is rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. Rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. This is what? Angular acceleration. Okay, angular velocity, angular acceleration, rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. Okay, its SI unit is radian per meter square, because for angle, for acceleration we are having meter square, radian per second square. Radian per second square, that is radian per second. Like velocity we have in the linear motion as meter per second. So here it is radian per second. So in the acceleration we have meter per second square. Here we have radian per second square. Okay. So this is what angular velocity and angular acceleration. Okay. Now, when any object it is moving in a linear motion, you consider linear motion, and I see here what I am doing. I am connecting with linear motion and rotational motion for the more understanding. I am first telling you about linear motion and then I am connecting with the rotational motion. Okay. So when any object it is moving in a linear motion, linear means straight line. See here, if this chalk is in my hand, okay, if I want this to move here, I should apply some force to this. That is understood, that you know it very well. Without affecting a force, any body cannot change its state of rest or motion. So when this chalk is here, if I want to make this move, I have to exert some force. Okay. Similarly, when you want the objects to rotate, at that time also you have to exert some force, right? Means whenever you consider, see this chalk is there, around this chalk one object is moving. So initially that is at rest. If you apply the force, then only that object starts moving. You consider fan only. Okay, so to the fan, if you switch the button on, then only fan starts moving. So that switching the button is nothing but for supplying the electrical energy to that. So supplying the electrical energy is nothing but supplying the force to that, right? So to that fan, if you apply the force, then only that goes in a rotational motion. But in the case of rotational motion of the bodies, we won't call it as a force, we will call it as a torque. What we call it as? We will call it as a torque. Means the force exerted on the rotational bodies. Okay, or the torque is the parameter which will measure the rotational effect of the bodies. Okay, torque is what? The force exerted on the rotational bodies, or a measurer of rotational effect of the bodies. So this is represented with the letter tau. Okay, this is what? Tau. Greek letter tau is there. Okay, so torque, if it is applied on any object, that at that time only the body starts moving. So the expression for torque can be given as, torque is having direction, okay, F into R. R is what? The distance of object from the rest position. If that fan is moving, at the center we are having O, you consider, that is rest position, and from that center to wings are having the distance R, okay, and the force applied is F. So the rotating effect is what? Torque, tau. So tau is equal to F into R. Force is also having direction, tau is also having direction. So can you write SI unit for torque now? Right? Can you write? Yes, because force is in terms of Newton, R is in terms of meter, or means what is this R means? CL. Like this, if any object is moving, so here if you consider any point P and it is center, from here we are having the distance R. I showed there also. Okay, so R is the distance of the particle from the axis. Distance of the particle from the axis, and that particle is showing rotational motion, not linear motion. Okay, so this is distance. So the SI unit for torque can be written as Newton meter. SI unit of torque can be written as Newton meter. Okay, so this is about torque. This is about some parameters with respect to the objects under rotational motion. Okay. So the remaining things we can discuss in the next class. Okay, what we done in this today's class, we studied about vector products of two vectors A, B and C, and some properties with respect to that. You just note down all these things in your book. Okay, then we studied about the objects under rotational motion. We consider one axis Z, and among that axis Z the body is rotating. Okay, so when that body is rotating, the particles are moving in a circular path, and that circle I have drawn, and I have taken one point P. That point P is continuously changing its position in the circle. So that changing of position of point P is nothing but displacement of point P. So that displacement I call it as the angular displacement del theta. Okay, so that angular velocity omega is equal to del theta divided by del t. It is what? Angular velocity, and its SI unit is radian per second. With respect to that, rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time is angular acceleration. It is radian per second square. And torque, the force applied on the rotating bodies is torque, or the rotational effect is measured in terms of torque. Tau is equal to F into R, and its SI unit is Newton meter. Okay, the remaining things we can discuss in the next class. Thank you.